Hi everyone. This is the first part of my introduction to Photoshop. I'm doing it in two parts. The first part will be just me talking about Photoshop, and the second part is a demo of exercise 4. So I'm going to, share my screen, and yeah. And hopefully this will work and you'll be able to see my, my Photoshop toolbar as well as my tools. That was a problem last time. So here is my whole screen. I hope you're seeing my whole screen. And I already have Photoshop up, but I need to create a new document. So say create new, and you're going to create a custom document. That's what you might have available, but if you don't, go to the right-hand side of your create new screen interface and change the pixels to inches so that you can see what the document will be in inches. And I'm going to pick a letter size document if you have those that available. If you don't, you can put in 11 wide, inches wide, and 8.5 in height. You can pick, set it for 200 pixels per inch. That is the resolution that you would need, at least that much to print. The optimal resolution to print is 300. So you're setting it so that you could print if you wanted to. And that is enough to print, and also, of course, enough for other purposes. Leave it at CMYK color because we're going to be mixing in CMYK, even though photos might come in as RGB initially. I'm going to have the background contents white, and let's see what else. It says square pixels. Photoshop is a pixel program, not a vector program. So we're dealing with small rounded squares on the screen. There might be an option to change just leave it at square pixels. That was too many choices. And then say create. And you should be opening up a new document. Now, I'm going to go over quickly I'm going to place an image first so you can see what I'm talking about as I do. As I do the tools, you'll see the image as well. So we're going to say file place, and you're going to place embedded an image that I have for you in the files area of Canvas. So it's called Man and Rocks. So you'll place that it's a JPEG. So it sometimes comes in as a vector object and we have to rasterize it, but it doesn't seem to have done that this time. And then you can hit return and that embeds it. Oh, it actually did make it into a vector object, so we need to rasterize it. So you're going to say, I think it's in layer, you can rasterize it later. When we start the exercise, I'll tell you to rasterize it. Now you may want to go to the crop tool, which is the 5th one down, and close down your document to fit the image. And you can hit return to affect that. Now, I'm going to quickly go over the tools. The top quarter of the tools are selection tools, and we'll be using them more extensively in the exercise. The second quarter of the tools are painting tools, such as the paintbrush. But all of these pertain to changing the color of the pixels. The third quarter of the tools are vector tools, actually. So you already know how to use them. For instance, the pen, the type, the selection tools, the geometric shape tools. And then at the very bottom here are just tools for moving the document, for zooming in and for moving the image around in the screen. Now, it doesn't move with my hand tool because I have a view selected, that isn't a view that will let me do that. I would have to go to the very bottom and change the view. If you hold down, you'll see there's a standard screen mode, a full screen mode. And then let's see, my Zoom toolbar. So standard screen mode, full screen mode with menu bar, and full screen mode. So you can change that. And then, for instance, with the full screen mode with toolbar, I'm able to move my image around in my window. I hope you're able in this video to see the menus. That's been a problem. Zoom won't let you see the menus at the very top of the screen. So might have to do with my screen mode actually. So don't know quite what to do about that. Yeah, so take a look next time and see if I go back to standard screen mode, whether it lets you see the menus any better. So with the menus moving across, we have the Photoshop menu, and on the Mac, preferences is one of the most important parts of the Photoshop menu, but that on a PC is under Edit, right at the bottom, the very bottom, your preferences. Under File, there's the usual New, Open, Close to save, Save As, Export, and some other interesting things for Photoshop. If you go to Photoshop, something like Animate Batch would be important. Edit, again, the most important part of it would be the transform functions right in the middle. You also have cut, copy, paste as usual in every edit menu, and some other commands that pertain to the actual document at the bottom. Image, really important menu in Photoshop. Mode is super important for us to know whether we're in RGB or CMYK or at the top grayscale. Adjustments, super important. We use this all the time. If you don't want to be destructive, you can actually do a layer adjustment. But in adjustments, which I use often pertaining to photos or artwork, you can just make a duplicate layer and do your adjustments on that. That's another way. Is brightness and contrast, levels, curves, hue, saturation, color balance, super important for Photoshop. And then all of these other things that have to do with your image, very important: canvas size, image rotation. So image menu is very important. Layer is also important. Working in layers in Photoshop is even more useful than Illustrator. So I'm teaching you a lot about working in layers, and that's part of the requirements of Project 2. We're also going to be learning layer masking, and here's some of the types of mask: layer mask, clipping mask, and I'll also be doing a quick mask with you in the last exercises 6 and 7. In the layers palette, these commands also exist, but they also exist in the menu: layer, merge down, merge visible, flatten image. So those are, it's important to know that they're also in layer. So some of these things are repetitive. You can use shortcuts, which are always to the right of your command in the layer. So you can learn the shortcuts if they exist. Some of these don't have shortcuts. Type, we're not going to be using in this course because it's not a graphics course, it's painting and drawing. Select, super important, because selecting areas in Photoshop is one of the most important ways we can change or paint into an image. So you need to know how to select, and some of these commands exist also with tools. Filter, we'll be using this a little bit. You can look at them, students love them, and I will teach it somewhat. Photographers use sharpen a lot. 3D, I won't be getting into too much. View, super important menu. So this is, of course, how you view the document. And all of these things are important to realize. So you might want to look at it, make sure you understand that they're here. For instance, rulers and guides. Again, guides, really important. So if you have the rulers up, you can pull guides. Window, all the palettes. So that's it. I will be getting more into tools when we do the exercise, when I start the exercise. So all of the tools will be explained more specifically when I start exercise 4. Thank you.